Hi again, my name is Vera Rabkina. I'm head of ratings at AppFollow, and today we're going to talk about how to cut corners to meet KPIs of your review management team. So yeah, I'm basically in charge of building everything concerning reviews, be it semantic analysis, everything that you see at the reply to reviews part, under rating reviews part. Yeah, and I'll be happy to show how, to share some business cases, to share some success cases from our clients, to show how to use AppFollow, the most efficient way, and to help you guys to build your reply to review strategy to win the App Store. Great, so let's start. And before I start, just let's, for all of us to be on the same page, let's talk a little bit why app reviews are so important, why are we talking about this, why such a big part of AppFollow is dedicated to it. So basically, app reviews, especially in mobile world, are the medium to affect both product strategy and app metrics. So it's about the product itself, how to shape the product, and how to make it profitable. So talking about the product strategy, let's have a look at what are the factors that affect product strategy. Well, in fact, there are user requests, so things that user say, well, we want this. They put it in a plain voice. Some new ideas product has, product gaps, which means that some product doing it not that good and you have an idea how to do it better. So it can be product health of a product, so basically how many bugs you have, how many complaints about the bugs you have, churn reports, which is basically a retention rate, how many customers are leaving you and for what reasons. Voice of sales, when sales say, well, we definitely know we want this feature, we can sell it, right? Some global trends, and what your competitors are doing. All of these things are shaping your product strategy. And if you look at this more attentively, we'll see that at the end of the day, it's all about customer feedback. It's just about that reviews can be different things. It can be requests, it can be just a side comment about what is not working great. It may be something that is missing in the product. It may be something that your customers like about your competitors. But at the end of the day, majority of those things can be found in mobile reviews. So, and if to talk about app metrics or even talk about unit economy, so it basically consists of two major parts. So the first part, and this is true for any product, it doesn't matter how big it is, how successful it is, it's at the end of the day about the customer acquisition costs, so how much money you have to spend for a single client to install your app, which consists in user acquisition costs, so how many ads you have to display for it to be clicked on, and install rate. So what percent of users who've seen it on the store page would finally install it, right? And LTV, lifetime value. So this is how much your product is earning. And it this is very complex metrics, but it boils down to two major things. Average revenue per user. So basically how much that single user that finally installed your app would spend in the app. And retention rate, how much time he would spend in the app, how long his life will be, right? These two factors basically define the profit of the app. And the balance between customer acquisition cost and LTV, they define the profitability of the product. So what we did, we looked into a number of cases from our clients, we did some research, some market tendencies and practices. And what we've seen, the stats shows that 3 to 4 key metrics are affected by reviews. And today, we're going to show you and cover some cases how it happens. But this way you see that reviews are this unique type of medium with which you can affect both unit economy of your app and product strategy. Right? And I think it was best put by Apple Developer Guide that by asking for ratings and responding to reviews, you can improve your app's scalability, which basically is traffic, encourage downloads, and build rapport with people who use your app, which is about the product market fit, right? So this way you can see that, well, reviews are really important. Okay, now that we see that, let's have a look how to work with them properly, right? And I think the best way for this is to do it on a KPI level. So let's check what are the review KPIs and how to affect them the best and the most efficient way possible. Right, so what we did is we talked to a large amount of our clients, and based on their experience, we boiled down it to 5 major KPIs you probably have with your reply strategy. And if you don't, maybe this is a time for you to consider to add those, right? So this app rating, reply rate, reply effectiveness stat, average reply time, and app issues and market trends. And that maybe the last one is not exactly the KPI. Well, we see it as a huge mission that is on customer support teams and teams that do review management. So we'll go one by one, share some cases, and show how to cut corners with them. So let's start from app rating. App rating is the one that you generally see in the store everywhere you go. So this usually the rating in the stars is shown next to the app icon in the listing. It is on the app page. But, well, the one thing you need to understand is that basically there are two types of rating. So the first one is app rating. This is like general, all stars given. And another one is review rating. And, well, it's important to manage both because they affect different things and they highlight different things. So talking about app rating, so this is important because, well, when you reply to reviews, you're basically affecting this average rating, and average rating is vital for your organic traffic to be cheaper and for a big amount of clients to install your app. So there is a correlation between how high your rating is and how many customers would install your app. So basically, this is like the major idea what it's about. So what we're going to show today, the best thing to affect it is basically just as simple as that with client reviews. But what happens with another one, which is review rating? So this is the rating, which is the rating purely of those parts where a review has, so those that have text next to them. And it's really important to track that because it highlights what your core audience thinks. Because if a customer took effort not merely just to put the stars, but to go to the store and leave some text for you, so this is your core audience. And since mobile world is a little bit different from regular one, and mobile developers are very much isolated from their customers, these reviews are basically the only common ground when you can talk and meet your core audience. So when you're doing research on your app, on app competitors, please look at both at general rating and at review rating. So yeah, here you can see the screenshot from our dashboard, which basically provides you with a way to track both. Great. And talking about app rating and the ways to affect it, I'd like to share some things that can help you. So in the first case is from our client Tinkoff. And well, this is like as easy as that. Just if you want to affect it, simply reply to reviews. So what they did, they started to reply to reviews systematically and analyzing what works for them and what doesn't. And it ended up that they managed to increase the rating to 4.82. And they, by analyzing their strategy, they managed to reduce the cost per ticket by 3 times, which is a lot, and which helps them to optimize the team and optimize the efforts within their customer support team. Right, so this is basically shows that by simply replying to reviews and building a strategy, analyzing what you do, will help you to increase the app rating and affect the metric together. Another thing you can do is to report negative reviews. So the thing is that both App Store and Google Play have certain policies on what reviews can be posted and what cannot. And this policy affects all customers. So basically, what it says is that you're not supposed to post off-topic reviews, spam reviews, and what's most important, offensive reviews. And I think anyone who worked with reviews knows that, well, sometimes the customers cannot hold their temper, and there can be a number of negative reviews. So the good part of it, you can actually send, as a user report a concern, you can actually send a request to stores to delete them. Right, and basically by deleting those negative reviews, it automatically affects total rating because you wouldn't have that many negative 1- and 2-star reviews. Right, you can do it from AppFollow, you can do it from Console, and it works really, really easy and quickly. And actually, well, stores are very happy to do that. So this is like the part of their team. So I'd like to share a case from another client. It's Viber, so it's Messenger, global messenger. Right, so what they did is they started reporting aggressive and off-topic reviews as concern from AppFollow. And they achieved really great result with that. So in less than half a year, they managed to report more than 1,000 negative reviews and had 60% of those deleted. So basically, they got rid of more than 600 reviews of negative kind. And this is good for rating, and this is good for image of your product. And so the biggest, I think, the part about reporting concern as a feature, which I like both, is that while you can still do it manually, you don't have to, because you can always automate it with AppFollow. So our auto-reply tool has this reporting concern feature. So basically what you do is, it works pretty easy. It's like if, then type of rule. So what you do, you just basically create if rule with certain aggressive language contained, and if review contains any of the hateful speech, you can always automatically report it as concern. And since reported concern functionality is partially done by robots, so it's basically one robot talking to another robot, and it works perfectly and basically cleans the stream of your reviews automatically for you. So yeah, again, this is like a very quick and easy way. So you set up it once, and you take care, and it takes care about your app rating. So the next KPI I'd like to cover is reply rate, where basically how many reviews have to reply. And this is a question we get a lot. And I'd say it's important to segment your reviews properly and prioritize which segments are more important for you. And this really depends on how big your app is, how diverse your app is, how diverse markets are. So it's important to do segmentation, and I'm going to show you how to do it properly and how to track it properly. So if you're doing some number reviews, so where to start from? So basically, if you have a very small app and your team copes with the whole amount of reviews you get, this is perfect, right? But this is not always the case. And as long as you're growing, at some point, the customer support team just cannot support all reviews. What to do then? So my first advice is to figure out what top markets for your app are. So it can be divided by language, or it can be divided by country. So for example, you can focus on only English replies. Or you have top market, like for example, you know that top market for you is US, China, and I don't know, United Kingdom. Then you just focus by that, and you keep reply rate in those segments high, right? And then if you have time, you go back and you check other countries. And I think this is really important to know, and this is a part of your product strategy, and it would affect your major markets, right? So at least you want to make sure that the major markets are doing good. So another part, my top advice is to look at featured reviews. So featured reviews are those that are highlighted on the store. Mobile developers have no influence of which reviews would be featured. What we can do is to leave reply, and the best thing you could do is to reply to every featured review in every language you have. It might take some time, but this is just from 3 to 6 reviews per store, per country, right? So this is important because these are the reviews that your new clients would see first. And if you're there for your customers, it doesn't matter whether it's a positive or negative review, it also affects install rate in a positive way. So it allows you to save some money on organic traffic. So another thing to look at is updated reviews. So those reviews are important because, well, it means that there was one version of review and later a customer came back and updated the text. So this means that this is a loyal customer and he already has a story with you. So you don't want to lose him. So every time you have an updated review, my advice, go check it and take care of those, right? This would, help you to make the retention rate higher and to keep the core with your app. Right, and if you're using semantic analysis, which is basically ML-based system that checks what all reviews are about. So here are a few semantic tags. My advice is to track most often. So the first one is app update. So basically, once you have an update, you want to check what they think about it, because this is like the most important ones. And this is also important for troubleshooting, because if there are certain issues with that, well, you'll know, and you'll know quickly thanks to semantic analysis that goes and checks it for you and marks down those reviews. So another one is about bugs. So it's similar, because I think those customers need most help and most quick to keep them with the app so they don't churn. Rate and negative sentiment. So this means that customers are not happy about something. So it has negative tone of voice. And probably you have a chance to reply to that, and they'll update it and increase the app rating of first KPI. Great. Another thing that can help you with reply rate is to use automation. So I think we're going to talk a little bit more about this. So the thing is that human and robots are good at different things, and auto replies help you to excel at tasks that don't really require that much of your attention. So humans are good with doing complex situations, dealing with emotions, non-standard cases, and generally building the support strategy. But there's still a lot of routine in customer support work. So international support, so the languages your team doesn't speak, common issues, things you already know and they happen once in a while for the app. Positive reviews, they probably don't need that much of attention. You could just, a warm thank you would be enough. And routing to the right places, if you know, like, for example, there's a certain bug, there's a certain way around, you don't really have to, do it every time manually. You can automate this and save some time for your customer support team to focus on what's really important and what's really complicated to do. Right, so auto replies module AppFollow looks like this. So I think we covered part of this, but again, this is like if then. So there is a number of conditions you can use, starting from what are keywords of the review text, what are keywords in the translation, so that in case you don't speak, for example, Chinese, rate what is review language, how high the rating is, how many words are in the text, and a number of other routes, which provide you with a number of tools to really pinpoint which reviews you want to find for automation. And after that, you have a choice. You can either reply to all of them with a similar template, or you can use random template from folder. So basically you can create 40 different templates that thank you user for leaving a positive review. And it would randomly be attached, so users would never know this is not a robot, this is a robot. They will think this is a real human being behind it. Great, and again, report a concern, which we already covered. So with automation, we have a very successful case from our clients, Bitmango. Yeah, I think I've seen some of you guys in the comments, right? So what they do, they introduce auto replies for reviews, and you see like how high they managed to increase the reply rate. So basically, it's 2.3 times. And it not only increased the reply rate, it also increased average rating, which means that, well, automation not only is not, like, it doesn't hamper your rating in any way, vice versa. The bigger amount of customers you can help, the higher the rating will be, because there's bigger chances that more of those clients that have a chance to update the rating in a positive way. So basically shows that, well, automation is something to consider for your reply to review strategy. So the next KPI is reply effect. And, well, I couldn't stress more how important it is to analyze what is the effect of the things you're doing, because it allows you to build your reply strategy. So since mobile is such a versatile industry, there's gaming there's banking, taxi, B2B, B2C. So different things work differently for different industries, but by analyzing what works and what doesn't will help you to, use your resources wisely. Right, so talking about reply effects, this is a case from another client, Get Taxi. All right, so what they did is they built reply to review strategy with AppFollow, and you can see it just from the screenshot that it was pretty successful, I'd say. Right, so they managed to increase reply rate to 96%, and they increased app rating to 4.81, which is a great result. And I think this is like the top percentile of rating, especially for such a harsh industry as taxi. Right, so basically by analyzing what you do and seeing, well, if I reply, this is how high it gets, and I change things, maybe I change different templates and see how these templates are affecting, whether they're updating the review. So this helps you to, know what works and what doesn't, what you can automate, and what needs special attention. So yeah, my recommendation is to do it at least on a month basis and check how you're doing and what you can do better. So the next KPI is average reply time. So what we've seen from our practice and what we see from cases for our customers is the faster you reply, the higher the chances for you to be updated. Right, and well, this is quite logical because you and your customer is still in the same context, and they still remember that they left angry review, for example. So my top recommendation is make sure, well, please try to reply to reviews, at least in the segments that are important for you, within at least, well, maximum 2 days, because otherwise, the longer it takes you to reply, the lower the chances that it will be updated and you'll be able to affect the rating. Great. So the average reply time, this is a case from Innovative Connecting. So what they did, they moved from to reply platform to AppFollow from console. And well, that console, like Apple App Store console and Google Play console, well, they have some tools. Well, they're still pretty, not that much. They don't have that much functionality to automate things, and it's very manual. So by moving to platform, you have bigger chances to succeed. So yeah, as you see, they moved to AppFollow, and they managed to reply 50% faster, which in total saved more than 1,000 hours per month for their support team. And if you convert it in money, you'll see how good it is and how, what a positive effect it has. And it has positive effect not only on money, but also on the team, because, well, it's less stressful job and have more tools to do their job properly. So, and the final one is tracking app issues and market trends. And I think this is, those who are dealing with reviews, this is their mission, because, well, being in contact with customers every single day provides with a number of insights. And what I like reviews for is that it is like a perfect chance to meet thousands of your clients really quick, in just a few hours. You don't have to arrange any meetings. You just basically go check what your customers think, what your competitors' customers think, and this is like a perfect source to get insights for your product. Right? So basically, this is like a perfect tool for product discovery. Yeah. So if you decided to go on this way of product discovery, I'd like to share some tips or way to look for the biggest insights. So my understanding is that what you like to check is 3- and 4-star reviews, because, well, those reviews are of those customers who are loyal, but there's still something missing. So usually, like when a person puts you 4 stars, he feels like he has to validate why it's not 5, and this is like the best information. And when I worked in mobile industry, this is my favorite place to look for reviews. Another one is updated reviews, and we'll talk a little bit about this before. It's from the core audience. If they updated, there's certain information why they updated. So it's very interesting to track history, and it's really great that you can do it in AppFollow, so you can check the whole history with your client, and you see you like that, and maybe another thing, and what was the triggers for him to go and update and do this extra effort. So this is also always interesting to check. And surely, long test review. The longer the text, the higher the chances that there's insight there. So yeah, go for it. Another thing you can do, instead of doing manually, you can go and check, do it with a semantic analysis. So semantic analysis is an ML-based engine that checks all reviews and does this automatic tagging. They set up with tone of voice. So basically how happy your customers are or unhappy certain thing. And they categorize it with 30 plus tags we have of different topics, right? So the topics, my recommendation is to focus on as app updates. Yeah, in general, I find this is go to semantic tag, because if they're commenting on app update, this is definitely insight. And what's best about it is that you can do it not only for your app, but for your competitors. So as long as, for example, you know that your competitor has launched a certain feature and you're considering whether you need to do this as well or not, you just go and check the reviews, tag app update from the date of the launch, and then you know whether you like it or not. And this saves you tons of time and what's really great. So another one, which is pretty straightforward, is feature requests. So yeah, my recommendation is to go to every niche of your competitors, maybe not your direct competitors, and just check all feature requests, because it's really interesting way to communicate and very easy one. So this is where you can prepare the first pool of features to consider for your app development. rate and establish user. So this tag knows how to figure out which users have been with you for a long time. And obviously those that have a story with you, share a story with you, will have more insights of how they're using it, why they're using it, and there's also very, very useful information. Great. Yeah, and basically this is the way it would look like that every in the UI. So every review would have certain tags, can be like negative, positive, and certain feature requests, whatever. And you can basically filter by that and check and base your strategy from that. And if your app is a little bit more specific, and if you don't have like all of it covered by semantic tags, you could always use auto tags for that. So it works very similar to auto replies. Again, this if-then type of condition. But you can create your own keywords. For example, if you know how many requests are about the Apple Watch, so you create this type of keywords, and then you segment automatically. The system would segment everything about Apple Watch and reviews there, and then you can see the trends. So basically, you create those custom rules about your custom topics, and then you analyze the trends, how many requests have been there, how happy they are with tag chart. So this works like a charm, and again, it works hand in hand with manual tagging. So altogether, you can cover 100% of reviews you get. So this is all from my side. Feel free to post any questions. Also, I think we'll be sharing the PDF, so you'll be able to check the cases yourself in bigger detail. And if you have any more questions, let me know. And this is the context you can reach me at.
Thank you very much, Vera. Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them there in the chat. Though I do have a few questions that came with the registration form with people who chose to attend this session. So can you share an example of how well, reviews can be, they can be useful for many teams. And can you share some examples of how to make collaboration between, say, support team or the team that manages reviews and other teams that can benefit from it, like product or marketing teams?
Well, I think that generally the collaboration is the part that brings best part to the product. My recommendation is to build certain types of reports and agree on topics that are important for product managers. And after that, you can build it with semantic analysis and basically filter by that, check the total rating, check how many of the requests they are. You can do auto tagging for specific topics if they are, and basically just start building this report. And as long as I think your product team will be more than happy to get more insights and have some help to get their job done. Because, well, actually, like me as a product, I'm always happy when our customer support team tells, well, maybe you need this feature. I'm like, wow, somebody did a job for you, for me. Well, so I think it works absolutely the same for any industry and any mobile team. So I think that, well, customer support, just reach out and just show any trends, any reviews, and you see any sparks and any requests. Well, this is really, really useful. So go ahead with it.
Super, thank you very much. There were also a few questions about automation. So one was, when should companies start using automation? Like at what stage they should be?
Well, I'd say that as long as you have any type of processes, this is a good time to start automating it because you have something to optimize. Well, and I think the highlight is if you're using templates, this is a good time for you to consider, are you the person, do you really have to be the person to put every of this single template manually? Or maybe a robot can do it for you, right? So first thing is templates. Another thing, if you're analyzing how efficient you are with doing this, and if you feel like you need a helping hand, maybe covering international reviews, you don't speak the language. So if it's, as long as you have any manual routine you'd rather not do, just consider maybe automation can do it for you. So yeah, this is like, if you feel like you're ready to hand over part of your job, so this is the time to consider automation.
Super, thank you. And I know that there are a lot of teams who are afraid to sound, like a robot. What did you see when developing the product? What did you see were the best kind of ways to not sound like a robot, but still using automation and making your life easier, but also making customers feel like they are heard and you still talk to them?
Great. So I think that's the best part about, well, on the one hand, this is like a disadvantage of mobile world, that this is not a simultaneous, not a chat. So they leave review at some time, you go find it. It can take like a few hours for moderation by the store. So nobody expects you to reply right away. And when you get to reply, it's still a short to reply. So you would never know whether it is a person or not, because there's no like this type of discussion. So my recommendation is just to create huge folders with different variations, like create 20 of them, and just put it randomly, and different people will get like different answers. And I think there are very few of those who would go and check like 100 of similar topic reviews. So probably not that many of those people, and those people will probably like, yeah, they're using templates, they still would know whether it's a person or not. And another advice here is not to be too broad. So try to build limits, just to know what topics are actually for the specific thing. So the fewer of those mistakes you make, the better. And if you're not sure that you can create those rules, so in auto reply mode, there are two different types of the way you post it. So you can post it automatically directly, and this will be really good for your average reply time because it works really quickly, like charm. But if you're not sure about this, you can always try it with pre-moderation, so that there'll be like a pre-filled text for your approval, and you can manually approve every single reply. This will take a little bit more time for you to reply, but this is like you have 100% control and still saves you a lot of time with those, working with those reviews.
Super, thank you so much. The last question from the list of the people submitted there was, how do you? So you kind of mentioned that during the presentation that you need to respond to, negative reviews, but how do you actually ask users to increase their rating or change the review?
Well, my advice here is just don't be shy. This is like we actually want users to update it, and this is one of the reasons why you're doing this. And just give them a hint, just saying like, ask them, do they have any more questions? They can help you. Would they mind updating to you to evaluate your job? And I think like if they're loyal to you and you actually did a good job, they would do that. So just don't be shy. Give them a hint, because majority of those wouldn't even consider doing this because it wouldn't sleep on their mind, because just as a comment section, right? But many of those would be happy to do this.
Super, thank you very much, Vera. So guys, if you have any more questions or if something pops into your mind later, there is this Slack channel that I mentioned before, and then there's a link in the chat. So feel free to go there and drop your questions. We will be monitoring and answering them there.